Hello again, everyone. Mark Hackle, Macomb County Executive. John Paul Rea, Deputy Executive, just giving you an update what's going on here in Macomb County related to the COVID crisis, as well as some of the other things happening in Macomb County. John Paul, how are we looking at as far as the numbers?
So, Mark, our health department continues to respond to the spread of virus throughout the community. Already in August, we've got 389 cases and are working not only with our state partners at the DHHS, but engaging the folks at the CDC to understand the track of the virus and how, as we've opened up different segments of our economy and as individuals are socializing more, how we can continue to illustrate to the community that the personal responsibility, the facial coverings, the social distancing will help combat the spread of the virus. Hospitalizations still low, which is good, as we continue to not only ensure that individuals that need that critical care can obtain that critical care, and again, all that information that is readily available of how you can care for yourselves and your family is available at macombgov.org.
Again, continue to remind people social distancing, washing your hands, even though the economy has opened up, stay-at-home orders have been lifted. It's still a concern. We are seeing the uptick, if you will, in the number of cases out there. So the bigger concern is the younger age group, and I think it's because, whether it's the frustration or, the fact that they don't think it's still an issue, but they want to get out there and engage and kind of interact and intermingle. Understandably, we get it, but for the most part, still need to understand that it is, there is the community spread, it is out and about, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. So you need to take the precautions, as is continuously reminded, not only through the media, social media, but I think even within families and households.
Mark, and it's
continue to remind people to do that.
When you look at that too in our community dashboard, clearly you can spend a tremendous amount of time splicing the numbers, whether it's the increase of individuals under the age of 40 of contracting the disease, how we're trying to track this not only with individuals in the school-age children, what does it mean like for the young adults that are socializing more and more. Yes, these are trends that are heading in a positive direction, but again, it's the manage and maintain, it's understanding however it continues to spread, and it's those friendly reminders and having these conversations like we continue to have to inform people on how they can make the best decisions for themselves and their families.
Yeah, and on that note, we're still trying to figure out what's going on with the schools and where they're headed. We know it's already August. We're August 7th, and we're looking at trying to figure out, where we're headed. Some of the schools are saying they're opening August 31st, but yet the question is, what does opening mean? Does it mean going back to? Is there going to be the remote learning? Mm-hmm. All that is going to be a question. And the bigger challenge we're seeing is, some people fortunately have the ability to have technology available for their kids, for their families, in their homes, but there's some that do not. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very interesting here as a county dealing with some of the funds that we've gotten from the CARES funding, are working closely with our schools, our superintendents, the school districts, to figure out not only PPE, which is something I think we've got that handled. We know exactly how to do it.
We've covered that base.
And we're doing that with them. But the bigger issue is technology, and we're going to be able to help out in that regard too. So, what we want to make sure of is that there's no kid without some kind of opportunity to have access to technology. And so with those funds, we're committing to making sure that the schools can help fund that opportunity for kids if they have to do the remote learning. We're going to be making sure of that.
Mark, the difficulty is we understand that there will be some form of disruption, and whether it is just with a normal school day and traditionally and historically how we've seen it here in this county. But I think we're prepared and we have an operation in place that will be able to respond nimbly to whatever arises. Today we're going to continue the conversation with Mike DeVault and the MISD leadership team about that technology, and as you highlighted, it's going to be needs driven. So if there's a specific district, if there's a cohort of students, if there's a program that needs that injection of resources, we're going to be able to set up the apparatus so that folks can get those resources where it's most critically needed around the community.
And that's going to be a question for people that are working too. In other words, how does this disrupt their lives? Because some people don't have the luxury of having somebody at home to deal with it, but there's going to be concern, how do they do it? What do we do as far as, somebody who may need extra support, whether it's a tutor or some kind of daycare or whatever. Those are going to be some big pressing issues that people need to kind of figure out how do they resolve within their own households. And unfortunately, it's getting closer to the time when schools are supposed to start back up again. And a lot of families and people don't know, how this is going to work. Is it going to be going to school? Is it going to be remote? What do I need to do? Mm-hmm. We're just telling everybody, start preparing for the remote learning environment. Mm-hmm. And if they do go back to school, obviously where they can actually do in-school or in-class sessions, that'll make it simpler, that transition. But the question is, how do we keep kids protected? And we're going to work through that. So whatever the decision is made on behalf of the governor, our school districts are preparing for all the alternatives. We just want to make sure people at home who are listening are preparing for either alternative, but start moving in the direction that is going to be the remote learning environment, and understand that, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to try to figure out how do we at least cover that technology piece so that no kid is left without an opportunity through technology to connect with their schools for the online learning, if you will. So other things are going to be challenging, mm-hmm. and we'll try to figure out how we work, with the communities to support them if needed.
Mark, it boils down to putting children in the safest environment to learn and ensuring they have all the necessary resources. we will do everything in our power to support that, and most importantly, we will do so in a way that benefits the students, the parents, and the teachers themselves too.
Yeah, we'll keep that going. So macombgov.org, make sure you look if there's any resources, support you may need on that. Talking about that, we just had the elections, the primary elections, pretty good turnout. Incredible, the number of absentee ballots that were recorded. It was a record-setting, time in our history of people actually applying for the absentee ballots and turning those in. So with that being said, I got to tell you, the clerks around the county did an incredible job of dealing with this. Not only the on-site, there wasn't one concern, one issue registered throughout the county. So thankfully to the clerks around Macomb County for the great work you're doing, and even our clerk here in Macomb County did a great job of making sure we're recording it. And if you actually go online and look at the clerk's site here, I tell you, I looked around, whether it's Wayne County, Oakland County, even St. Clair, and all the clerks have those abilities to look at election results. I got to tell you, the system that was set up by Carmela Sabaugh, her staff in the past, and now Fred Miller carrying it on, it's very easy to read and understand, and I got to tell you, up to date, and they've done a great job with that. So credit to the clerks, even the clerk here in Macomb County, for getting that information out as it was available, and making sure that it was a safe environment if people voted on site, but also getting those that needed a ballot an opportunity to vote and drop it off at a location. So great job.
Mark, from the Emergency Operations Center, we continue to engage Clerk Miller as not only we had a successful primary election, but understanding what resources will be needed to support an even more successful election coming up in November. So whether it's those Dropbox sites, whether it's more information out there about the transparency of those folks getting those absentee ballots, understanding that individuals know that it is their right, opportunity, and responsibility to vote and have the means and outlets to do so.
Yeah, and we're also seeing, we talked about this before, some of the businesses making sure the grants awarded. We just want to continue to remind people that have applied for the grants, whether it's the business opportunity in phase 1 for 49 or less employees, and then obviously those that are applying for the 50 to 500, that we are trying to get those checks out as soon as possible. We're working with our partners from the chambers. We're working with the folks that are helping us out with our Plant Moran.
Yeah.
To make sure that the audits and all the actual applications are are consistent with the requirements under the grant itself. And Michigan Works, they've done a great job with us in our planning department. But we need people to be patient because they're calling us right away. Am I going to get that funds? Am I going to get the money? It takes a while. And I think last week they issued like 600 checks last week.
That's correct.
So that's a lot. I mean, that's something we've never seen before. We've never had to deal with. But again, I don't like to use the word checks in the mail, especially as a government. But we are working on that to make sure if we are putting that check in the mail, it's not something that's going to cause us a problem when it comes to audits that may come about as a result of complying with the requirements to get those funds.
Mark, you're talking about once-in-generation programs that our team was able to stand up in a matter of weeks. And yes, we hear some of the frustrations with folks, hey, where's the check, where's the check, where's the check? Please understand that we are processing this as expeditiously and as efficiently as possible, and as you highlighted, ensure that we follow every single step of compliance and oversight too. So tremendous amount of credit not only to our finance team, Steve Schmiegel and his folks, obviously you said the local chambers, which have stepped up and connected with the community too, our Michigan Work staff, which is also reviewing these, and then obviously the leadership from our Planning and Economic Development Department, Vicki Rad, Jeff Schrader, and the entire team there too.
Done a great job. So, and on that note, as far as the business thing, obviously macombgov.org, where you can get all the information you need to support your business throughout these trying times, and even look for the grant opportunities there. But interesting, I mean, we were talking about the challenges with Art Van, and they're closing down their stores, and boy, it was a huge void. I mean, it was a real concern in Art Van family. I mean, the amount of work that they put into supporting, these communities, not only with job opportunities, but even philanthropic.
Absolutely.
They've done a great job. But now them not being there created a tremendous void, but yet we're seeing Love's Furniture stepping in and buying some of those facilities and now looking to potentially headquarter on 14 Mile Road in the city of Warren. So again, although there's some kind of a challenge sometimes, it creates an opportunity. We're seeing somebody that's taken on that opportunity, and they're looking to fill these facilities, and they're looking for people to apply for job opportunities as well.
You started to see some announcements this week from the leadership at Love's Furniture, a newly created furniture conglomerate that not only is going to be able to fill that void, as you said, with Art Van leaving the marketplace, but also is not only looking to skill up on the sales side, the operations side, and the logistics side. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for our county to respond and illustrate how strong of a market we have here that will meet that retail segment. But it seems as if that this new entity that is created is very much looking to do some creative elements with regards to home goods and home furnishing.
Yeah, and so credit to the city of Warren, obviously our planning department for being intimately involved in that process to make that transition available, and even the state, with the support we're getting on that. But more importantly, Love's Furniture for stepping up and once again providing job opportunities, and obviously the necessary resource of furniture for people that are looking to buy furniture for their home. So on that note, we just want to continue to thank people for tuning in to macombgov.org and looking at our updates, but also making sure you're getting the word out about some of the available resources we may have. And also, if you can help spread the word that this is still in and around our community. We're seeing an uptick in the number of cases that are being recorded. There are test sites available if people want to get tested. Remind your friends and your neighbors to continue that social distancing, washing your hands, wearing the face mask, because it does have an impact. And again, on behalf of JP, myself, and the rest of us here in Macomb County, thank you for tuning in, and more importantly, keep you and your family safe.